Hello, this is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to today's program on In the Beginning Ashur. As always, this is a live program, and if you have any questions, any comments that you want to share with us during the program, if I can answer, I will. If not, we haven't had a Q&A in a while, and as I said, we would get to that. As always, I want to thank everybody for putting the time to watch this and with the comments that either you send private or you send us on YouTube and Facebook page. I really appreciate it. Uh, Also, you can access Assyria TV is all these media platforms, X, former Twitter, on Rumble, on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Also, we have a webpage, assyriatv.org, that you can see over 5,000 videos about many subjects, one of them being this program in the beginning, Ashur. Today, I'm starting a new series of programs. As you saw on the flyer, it's called Ashur Activist. Many of you last week spent time watched a debate between Cyrus Yadigar and Ashur Gebergis, and the moderator Shamun Zaito. He did a great job. I really appreciated the control, the questioning both parties, giving him time to give the audience their point of view regarding the subject. Now, today's program is not about what specifically what the debate was about. Subject is activism. Cyrus Yadigar, activist. Ashur Gebergis, activist. Joseph Pirayo, activist. Assyria TV, activist. But before I go further, because sometimes we have in our own mind, depending on what we have been exposed to, the meaning of certain words, right? When I talk to some of my friends regarding the word faith, in the Christian, some of them are evangelical, some of them are Church of the East or Chaldean or Syriac Orthodox, different denominations. When we talk about faith, it's somehow we are talking about faith, but different understanding that we have. Then issues come and we start, headbutting and arguing and not getting anywhere. And we are very good at arguing, in our culture, nature. However, before I talk about the subject, I went through uh, what is called that Oxford Dictionary. I wanted to see what it says, what activism is. So I took a photo, and we will share that with you right now. And I don't know if you agree with what it says about activism, but that would be the direction that I will be going, talking about activist or activism. So, do we have that? So, according to Oxford Dictionary, who is called an activist? It says here it's a person who campaigns for some kind of social change. When you participate in a march protesting the closing of a neighborhood library, you are an activist. Now, this is the part that I wanted to share regarding that I believe what activism or activist a person is. Someone who's actively, someone who's actively involved in a protest or a political or social cause can be called an activist. So there is a cause. There is something there that is has value, something that is important. This cause, whatever the cause is, this person actively is involved, either protest or a political in a protest of a political or social cause. There is something cause. So I went like, okay, we start from somewhere. Then now, what is the cause? And this one I had to write down to first to understand myself before I tell you what a cause is, because what is it that makes an activist? Then we go to what is a Ashur activist. So the information that I gather regarding the cause, maybe you say it's very simple, Joseph. Why are you so, just go ahead. But clarifying, I learn by simplifying things. Maybe some of you are more sophisticated. Great. I'm a simple person, and I'll try to simplify before understanding and moving to the next step, because to me, this is the best form of communicating. When you communicate and you understand each other, you might not accept what one person believes or not. However, the communication, when it's clear, at least we know what the subject is and we at least agree on the subject or the cause. Now, the activity taken would be different with people, but the cause. So, the information that I have about this cause, it says in the same dictionary, it says a principle, aim, or movement that because of a deep commitment, one is prepared to defend or advocate, make something happen. It talks about the deep, this is the activist. The other one was about cause. But keep that. Let me read that one more time. Sorry about this. Someone who's actively involved in a protest or a political or social cause. Why there is Assyria TV? There is a cause. Why the program Joseph is talking? Why the name of the program in the beginning, Ashur? Simplify. So the cause, there is somebody that is actively involved regarding a specific cause. And this cause is a principle, an aim, like what are we looking for? A movement that because of a deep commitment. This cause, I have a deep commitment for our identity. It's very important to me. Without identity, I believe you don't exist. Some people might say, Joseph, we have so many problems in our nation, and you're just talking about identity. Name, we need a country, we need a land, we need the unity, you need united, we need, political leader, we need a Rishayuta. Go ahead. You believe, act on it. I'm not saying don't do it. From what I have seen, this program is about being attacks on our identity. And I will give you a couple examples as I continue. And I mentioned today is the beginning of a series. Little by little, communicating about activism, cause. There is a principle aim. I'm repeating it because I want to be clear. Because the next step I'm going to go is maybe a little bit controversial to some people, but these are facts. One more time, a principle, aim, or movement that because of a deep commitment, one is prepared to defend or advocate and make something happen. So something has to happen for us to defend or advocate, right? There is an action, and the activist, by reacting to it, becomes an activist regarding that subject. Now, I want to give you an example. Back in 2014, I can't believe it. It has been 11 years. If you remember, 11 years ago, ISIS attacked Mosul. And when this happened, something happened to our people. The cities that I have here, I'm going to mention, are not all the cities, but we had demonstrations here, San Francisco, which is north of San Jose, about an hour drive depending on traffic. We had in Turlock, Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, D.C., maybe in Michigan. I don't remember. I'm sure there was something there. Uh, these are United States. I know there was in Toronto. I know in Sydney or I don't remember exactly which part of Australia, but we had major demonstration in Australia. and many cities in Europe. The photos that we have here are from 11 years ago when ISIS attacked Mosul. Something happened. These are activists that you see with the signs that they are carrying. They said, hey, why are you doing this? And specifically, why are you doing this to the Ashuri people? Is that simple? Simple explanation of activism, right? So there were T-shirts, as you can see. I think one of the photos there is that the letter N in Arabic and in Farsi is the same letter, and it was by ISIS. It was put. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, this is not an MV. I remember that last. She's from Michigan, and the reason that letter was used during the demonstration is that when ISIS entered Mosul, every house that was Christian, they painted it with that letter. What is N? Or we say Nun. What does that represent? It represents Nasraya, Jesus of Nazareth. So that's what they were aiming. These are people belonging to Nasraya, to Jesus. And they demonstrated with that N. And I bought a t-shirt. I have it. I never worn it. We supported the cause, but I don't wear it anymore. And I tell you why. This is my identity. And even though what ISIS did, I don't want to change the subject, but just as we see activism and we start thinking, the cause was not, to me, even though they were against Christians, that land, Mosul, doesn't belong to Christians. It belongs to Ashur. You don't believe it? British Museum, Louvre, all these other museums in the world, Berlin, I think they closed. Hopefully they open and they have more of our artifact. Chicago, New York Metropolitan. I was there a few years ago with my son when he was studying over there. That's our identity. That's why I didn't, he supported the movement. We bought the shirt, but I'm never going to use that letter to identify myself because that's not who I am. History tells me. It's not that I make a choice. I decide who I am, or it is what it is. Like it or not, this is not a choice I made. And we will get to that in the next few programs regarding the activist, how an activist becomes an activist. But today, the subject is what is an activist? What is the cause that makes an activist? What happens? That was an example of 11 years ago, what uh, ISIS did, came to Mosul, took over, took hostages, took people start running away for their life. They dropped everything. I've heard from a few people that they were there. It's like this young lady, she told me we're like 2 kilometers from where ISIS was. We just sat in the car and we went the opposite direction. And thank God they made it to Beirut. And from there, they went to France and other parts of Europe that they had friends and families. Some were not as lucky. That's why we had this demonstration. That was great. Great demonstration. Activists coming out, all the cities, hundreds, maybe thousands in each city. Then it died. I don't mean to laugh, but it went then because 11 years ago, with this activity, what was the outcome? What came out of it? History tells us. You can look at what happened after the demonstrations, nothing. Now, one thing that was very interesting that when these demonstrations started in regarding the ISIS attack in Mosul, on Facebook, I believe it was, there was this young lady. She mentioned ISIS first attacked Syria, and none of you people gave a bleep about our people in Syria. Do you know why? First of all, I didn't know because unfortunately, this identity that you're talking about, somehow those in Syria regarding the Syriac Orthodox belief, they claim to be Aramean, separating themselves from the rest of us. Not all of them believe in that. But when this young lady mentioned, how come you didn't care about ISIS when they hit Syria? These are our people too. My only thing was that, you know what? We never looked at them as our people. Not we totally, I never, because at that time, 11 years ago, I don't know what I know today. I knew something, but as you learn, as you investigate the research about history, about uh, church history, how this, that happened, I was like, wait a minute, she's right. When ISIS hit, what was that city? I'm trying to remember. Hasaka? I think it's Syria. And I was like, oh, it's Hasaka, it's okay. Mosul, oh man, you hit Mosul? Our, it's sad, but we were programmed. Most of us were programmed. Syriac Orthodox is separate. They are Aramean. We never look. They speak different language. No, they don't. It's just a Western dialect. I didn't know. Suryoyo, Atoroyo, whatever the language, it's the same language. Dialect is different. Yeah, there's like communicating is not easy between Eastern speaking and Western speaking, but we are the same people. And at that time, I realized, wait a minute, why didn't we care when ISIS hit Syria? We could have had those demonstrations. Maybe if we had those noises that was made, all these cities that jumped up, maybe ISIS wouldn't have attacked Mosul. They said, hey, nobody cares we attacked Syria. You know what I'm saying? So the activism. So as I said, today just it's like a beginning, preface of this subject. Another thing about this demonstrations that was done all over the world, even I think in Lebanon and other Middle Eastern countries. I don't know if they did it in Iran or not. Maybe they did. But the thing is that it was organized activism, but a short lived organized activism. Something happened, there was a cause, and people reacted. However, it's short lived. Everybody are like, "Khaya, bismillah, okay, we did our resume. Let's go home, live our life, whatever." Not that we could do anything, but the activists ongoing. Like when I look at these photos, some of these people that I see in these photos, I don't hear anything from them regarding being activists. But that's a different story. Now, a couple other examples. I remember, I think it was a year or 2 years ago, there was this rumor going around that France has accepted or has what is the word recognition of the genocide of the Ashuri people. They have recognized the Armenian genocide, but the word came out that France has accepted, recognized the Assyrian, Ashur genocide. Anthony Yallop from Nineveh magazine, we had interview, and he just gave us the information that no, they will consider talking about this. That's another kind of activism. Something happened. Said no, no, no. Let's clarify. Let's not just jump to conclusion. It was some false information. They have not officially recognized. They said they will sit down and talk about recognizing it or not. Good luck with that. What I'm saying is that these are examples. Another example is that when I had interview with Dr. Ephraim Yildiz, what was the subject? The patriarch of the Chaldean church, Marsako, if I'm not mistaken, he said that the liturgy of the church, the singing, I'm not singing, the raza, I don't know how we say the mass. The mass will be done in Arabic from now on. And Dr. Ephraim had sent him a letter, says, Gessi, please, don't kill our identity. You want to call it Chaldean, but don't do it in Arabic. So we had an interview here on this program. Dr. Ephraim came and he explained. Another activist, Anthony Yaleb, activist, Dr. Ephraim Yildiz, activist. We sat down and he explained, gave us the history, our language, our like everything regarding that the language should not be changed, especially to Arabic. Why? That's a different story. But what I'm talking about is activism, different forms, the effectiveness of these forms. Now, I would like to have you listen. That video is ready from France. Let's listen to this first, please.
تشد يعني شكرك مريا آلها اللي هيمانوتة دي يوخن أختن أخا يعني هيمانوتة دي يوخن حبة دي يوخن دعلاها كم يقول طالوخن وكلين يعني كيف يبقى ووخن يمدحي لوخن يعني ونوا بروما بطل اي رازا مر بطرس بلط ببلاطة خا من بطرانة فرنسا ميري أخني شكروخ لين كالداي باريس وفرنسا خدوم يا طاولة طاليني يعني أبونا عزيزي وبطرس يامر شاتي ميتي خطلاتي ناشي بس يهاوي تري إما ناشي يعني نخمن بي خايل يعني أخني إيتا ديان يمني لا بس إيتا ديان كالديتا إلى كاثوليكا إلى كاثوليقاية ليوخ لا أرثوذكس وليوخ لا نصرناي وليوخ لا أرمناي وكل يقار الأبونا أرمناي هذيل منا بس ختنوخني ما يقال يعني إديو زلي غزالي وزيرة قواية يعني
Very funny. So for those of you, this was done in the Chaldean language. It's not Ashuri. So to be clear, it sounds a lot like Ashuri, but they say this was for those of you who might not know who the speaker was. This is Patriarch Sako of the Chaldean church. Used to be Babylonian Chaldean. They took the word Babylonian out, but that's another story. And of course, Patriarch Sako is a Roman Catholic cardinal. If you remember, this was a few weeks ago, a month ago, when Pope Francis passed, they did the conclave, and Patriarch Sako was one of the cardinals that attended to pick the new pope. And of course, after that, he talked about that he was backstabbed. He thought he was going to become a pope, but that's a different story. But the thing is that, I mean, I love this guy. I tell you why later, but he's speaking in our language, Chaldean, Assyrian, Aturi, Ashuri, whatever you want to call it, right? He talks about it's interesting the transition slowly, like playing like with our head. It's like what is that word? Propaganda. There's like a propaganda in there to speak in a way that we don't know. I realized it after I listened. I said, "Hey, wait a minute." He started with Chaldean Mother Church. We are not Nustornaye. First of all, did he say Nustornaye? First of all, that's an insult word, but that's a beside the point. He said we are not Nustornaye. Nustornaye is the consists of Assyrian Church of the East and the Old Calendar. These two used to be one until about 70, 80 years ago. But he says Nustornaye. That's an insult to him. But as I said, I try not to lose my focus here. He mentions, according to some bishop, Mark Butros, this is we are Chaldean. Chaldean is the mother church. If Chaldean is mother church, then what is Vatican? father church, or how many mothers do we have, or the other churches? But that's still, I try not to lose, because so many things in one, two sentences that go so many different directions. So let me go back. Bishop Petrus said, Chaldean, this is a mother church. We are Chaldean. We are not Nusturnaye. We are not Armenian. Wait a minute. From denomination, he moved to ethnicity. The unity that they were talking about in Paris. Remember, I was saying about propaganda, right? I think there's a noise coming. Anyway, remember, I was saying about propaganda? It just moved from denomination to ethnicity to wipe out separation. Even though he's talking about unity, I believe in that gathering. What's the point here? As I said, this is a series of programs. I'm going to finish with this Mars cycle. First of all, when activists move, is because of a cause. Something has happened. When Marsako did this, I don't know what your reaction is. It was the latest, one of the examples. We're going to have more examples coming in the few programs coming up. And one question: do you have the stomach? Can you, my dear Christian brothers and sisters, handle it? What has happened that has created all these activists is by the action of clergy, especially the past 200-300 years, to divide and separate us. For Cyrus Yadigar, for Ashur Givergis, for I think this what was this doctor on the other group that he didn't make it to the George Marcos. For these people, I'm not saying I'm whose side, but for these people to be able to build something, these other ones that are cutting under the foot, they're destroying the foundation, that foundation of identity. We, the activists, we have to cut that first. Oh yeah, that was another interesting part. Johan Mahrum, I hope I'm saying your name right. I have talked to him. He's a great man. The comment is, in his mind, Chaldean is Catholic. That is why he says the mother church. Well, thank you, Johan, for sharing. Catholicos means universal. So we have a Roman Catholic Church, we have Chaldean Catholic Church, we have Church of the East Catholic Church, we have the Armenian Catholic Church, we have the Greek Catholic Church, we have the Russian Catholic Church. Everybody is mother. There are a lot of mothers out there. Yeah. Uh, anyway, as I said, today's program is just the beginning of a series regarding activism and effective activism. Anyway, as I said, let's have enjoy the information. I want to thank you for watching the program. As always, Ahiya Ashur Chaya, Chaya Ashur, Shimid Ashur, Mabqila. Thank you, and I'll see you next program. Goodbye.
شيخاني